they get me down.
Ooh, is it you saucy?
My daddy's on damage control. My daddy on damage control. Diamonds in my neck, Cartier, just my wrist. Took some praying hard work just to get it like this, but you can never understand.
Okay, so y'all know how people be like they don't tell people that they stink because like you can smell yourself. I don't believe in that shit no more, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. So like 3 years ago, I had got I had got my lashes done by this girl, and after she had did my lashes, all my lashes had fell out like 2 days later. So I had made a video about it. I didn't say her name in the video. I had just made a video saying how all my lashes fell out. I guess she ended up seeing the video. She got mad. She started telling everybody that I was musty. And she even had made like a discount code on her site. Like, use code musty for money off. Da 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 da. Okay. Fucking hater. Da 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 da. Mind you, I'm the type of bitch deodorant in my car. All of that shit. Then last year, or maybe this was in 2023. I don't know. But with a hairstylist bitch. The bitch had damn near the same shit. Then, okay, so I don't give a fuck who you is. If I get a hold to that phone, I'm searching my name in your messages. Like, if I know I'm gonna have your phone for an extended amount of time, I'm going to search my name in your messages. I don't know. I'm just a nosy ass bitch. Now, I'm not gonna just pick up your phone and go through it. Like, if you give me your phone and be like, do this on my phone or play music on I don't know. I'm gonna search my name. I'm not gonna go through your whole phone, but bitch, anything that says Tyler on it, TP, whatever, that's my business. You said my name. So I had one of my friends' phone one day and I searched my name. Lo and behold, another musty ass accusation. And I'm like, that particular friend, I stopped talking to her for a little bit because, bitch, if I'm your friend and you feel like I'm musty, bitch, clearly I did not know. No. I'm not the type of bitch that will walk around being musty and just be like, oh, I'm musty, I don't give a like, clearly I did not know. So ever since then, bitch, I keep deodorant in the car. I take night showers. When I take my shower at night, I put deodorant on. When I wake up in the morning, I put deodorant on. Bitch, I put perfume on at night. When I wake up again in the morning, I put perfume on. Now everybody say that I smell good because I was already always putting deodorant on. Now I take extra care to make sure, because that is almost one of the worst allegations that you can have, is that you're musty. Me to this day, like, and then I do smell checks too. Like, if I'm out all day and I'm with another person, smell my underarm, smell me. Am I musty? Like, And if I'm around somebody that's musty, I'm gonna tell them, or they stink, or any type of smell.
What is up, my blushing glams? Stack up that for me. It's your girl Blush, and I'm back with a story time. I know I probably look like the last time I recorded, but y'all know sometimes I have to do batch recording because life just be going in all different directions, and I want to be able to kind of get my content to you guys without life interceding and not allowing me to do so. So anyways, without just kind of going off the tangent, I wanted to do a quick story time because I know that when I do ask sometimes what kind of content you guys want to see, and story times was definitely one of them. So if you are not part of the Blushing Glam family, first off, my name is Blush, and over here we do a lot of girly stuff, I guess. You know, I talk about fragrances, one of my loves. I talk about beauty. I talk about hygiene every now and again, and definitely boss babes, because we want to level up our life in every aspect of it. All right. So if you want to be a part of our Blushing Glam family, you enjoy this video and want to see more like it, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and also, like, you know, say hi, say how you doing, leave your comments, always positive, because this is a safe place here on my channel. All right, let's get to it. So as you may seen from probably the thumbnail or whatever, this is a story time. And since we're kind of like on the, I wouldn't say the theme, but I know the last couple of videos I've recorded with either fragrance or hygiene. So this is going to be in that realm. I'm going to talk about a time. I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you guys, and I probably did. And if I didn't, this is just going to be an updated story time of it. So so a few years ago, so like before, this is before family, of course, this is before, you know, I had children and things like that. I was kind of going through like a career change in my life. And so after I graduated college, I couldn't really find work in the field that I was working in. And I don't want to make the story time about that, but just to kind of rail you into why I went back to school for this. So anyways, I took psychology in college, graduated, couldn't really find much of anything because at that time, in order for you to find a decent job in psychology, you really had to kind of go into like master's and your doctorate degree. At the time, I only had my bachelor's. So I went back, not to go to school, but I went back and I got my insurance claims license. And that's kind of how I got into insurance. I think I was working at a moving company, which had like a small claims department. And it was like 2 or 3 other adjusters there. And we just handled like the claims of the movers for the company, and it was all in-house. I did that for about 2.5 years, and I just felt the need to kind of do a career change. So I really didn't want to do that anymore. So I decided, my passion has always kind of been like beauty and things like that. So I didn't quite want to do hair. Like, even though I braided hair, people in my community at home, family and stuff like that, I did my own hair most of the time in middle school and high school. But it was not something that I would say I was passionate about. It was something I did kind of like the survival mode. Mom didn't always have the money to give me to get my hair done every 2-3 weeks. So I just learned how to do it myself. Got in front of the mirror and I just started like learning how to braid myself. And then because I was braiding my own hair, sometimes, my little sister needed her hair done. Friends may need, me to braid them hair. And my friends also did the same thing too. Like, we all kind of did each other hair. But we were, again, sort of survival mode without having to go out and pay someone. At that time, it was not like the prices we're seeing now, but still there were more than what we had as teenagers. So again, family members who needed their hair done, friends, things like that, we would kind of like, interchange exchange the services to each other. So, hair was my passion. So I got into nails. For some reason, I always wanted to do nails. Like, nails was my thing. Like, I would sit there and I would go to Walgreens, I would get the acrylic kit, and I would try to do acrylic on myself, do it on my friends. Sometimes it came out nice. Sometimes it was like, what the hell? And we just went on with life. So I noticed that, again, nails was something that I really did like. So I decided, okay, I'm actually not going to do claims anymore. I'm going to go into nails. So I went to, there was this school, and I saw this school, I think, every time I rode home. And I said, you know what, let me go ahead and sign up. So I signed up, and while I was taking the class at night, because I worked during the morning, and then at night I would go back to school for nails. So I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I went back for skincare, which included things like waxing, because I figured, okay, if I'm going to be doing nails, and I may be wanting to offer like skincare services as well. So it included like waxing, facials, and that type of stuff. So you learn about, dermatology type things. It was like a 9-month program, I think. Nails was like maybe like 3 to 6 months, I think, and could have been less. But the skincare was longer, but it was not as long as like the full cosmetology program. Anyways, again, not to ramble into that. So I took the skincare. Now, in all of those things, when you're in there, you do also have to give the state, before you apply for the license. This is in the state of Florida, at least. You have so many hours that you have to complete hands-on services. So what they do at the school I was at, they would pretty much kind of open the school to the public, where people from the outside can come and get services. They wouldn't pay the same amount of money that you would pay when you go into like an actual nail shop or an actual skin spa, but you were definitely paying something, because it would go towards I guess the school, or I don't know where the money went, but you would pay something, and then sometimes they would tip you for your services. Just like if you go to the nail store, somebody does your nails, you tip them as well. They will also give you like some tips. So sometimes we will leave there with some, $20, $15 from being tipped from the customers. I guess they kind of call it like an internship. It was like an in-house internship. So anyways, going into the skincare. So again, like I said, waxing was part of the agenda or the itinerary. I forget the word that you used, or the syllabus, I should say. So waxing is definitely part of that. Now, one day, so this is why this whole story time come into place. So one day, there was this person, I think we kind of did rounds in a sense. So like if you knew how to do waxing well or whatever, everybody had to do it. So sometimes if someone came in and you were not giving someone a facial and you were open and they needed to get a waxing done, if you were available, you would go up and you would help the person to get the waxing done. So one day, this lady came in wanting to get waxing. She wanted to get the down below waxed. And she's a nice lady. I don't think hygiene has anything to do with being nice. I just wanted to put it out there. And I'm not using any names, so I don't think this person would ever see this video. We don't roll in the same circle of people, and I'm not even in that area that I took schooling anymore. So I don't think she would ever come across this video and know that I'm talking about her. So I'm not giving any names, any hints or anything like that. I'm just telling a general story of my experience. So anyway, she was a nice lady, heavy set, one of these people, but she was really nice, very soft spoken, very kind of reserved and things like that. She came in, she was like, yeah, she's coming to get waxing done. So my teacher comes with me, because I think this was one of my first official waxing in the down below area. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's my first time. I'm not that thrilled about going down, someone's down below area, but it's part of the job. People are going to come in to want to get that area waxed. Okay, cool. So she, we set her up onto the bed and everything like that. She gets undressed or whatever. So I began the service. Now, my teacher was kind of close by. And again, because this was one of my first time actually doing waxing in that area, which does take, it does take care, because again, that's the person's down below area, and that skin area is a little bit more, it's not as tough as, certain, like the legs and things like that. So we began the service, and I was struggling a little bit, and I was struggling for a couple of reasons. One, of course, because this was my first time and I didn't want to hurt her and things like that. So I was kind of like taking my time in certain things, but at the same time, even though it's your first time doing it, and even though you're a student working on someone, no one wants to be sitting there for hours and hours while you're trying to get their waxing done, especially since it's not the most nice feeling to have your hoo-ha in somebody's face and then they're just pulling the hair out of the area. So you want to be able to kind of get that service up and going with as minimal pain for that person. But it was very hard for me to get through that service, you guys, because I was struggling also because for some reason there was just an odor hitting me, like boom, bow, pow, pow. What? And the odor was just so crazy because it was like an odor of, it was not like must or anything like that. It smelled like someone used the bathroom, didn't clean themselves properly, and then on top of that, it was a mixture of woman parts. You guys, it was horrific. It was so bad, it was starting to churn my stomach. I almost felt like I didn't know what to do. And then it turned my stomach and it also started slightly giving me a headache. And I didn't want her to notice that I was kind of literally getting sick. Like literally, I'm not even being funny. I'm not trying to be exaggerative, literally getting sick. Like I was getting hot flashes. I felt like I was about to throw up. I started feeling nauseated. And again, so I guess my teacher kind of like noticed that I was struggling to kind of get the service going. So at first, I think she kind of thought that I was struggling because it was my first time. But then so she came in to kind of like, okay, show me some pointers and things like that. But then she also was hit with the odor, with the smell. And so now she kind of like, we're looking at each other and, you can't tell the customer that, you can't tell them that. But we both was just like, what the heck? And she kind of gave me this look like, okay, now I understand why you were struggling. But, of course, because she's been doing this for years. So, not only as a teacher, but she's had experience of working in actual salons doing, I think she did threading. I wish they would have offered threading. I wish they would have offered eyebrow threading or just threading services there to learn, but we learned waxing. By the way, while we're speaking of threading, tell me what you guys think about my eyebrows. I went to this place called, I think it's called Eyebrow Spa. It is in the Pembroke Pines area. This is not sponsored, but I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. And I went there and it was pretty quick. There was a girl, I think her name is Samaya. She's the one who did the services for me. And I was actually wanting to I wanted to try the lamination, but I said, let me just do what I'm used to doing. So anyways, I just got regular threading, and she tinted like the ends of my eyebrows, because sometimes my eyebrows seem like it's very sparse, and when someone waxes it too thin, it just starts to look very thin. So I had to kind of grow out my eyebrow for a while and then, you know, go get the services done. Anyway, so this is just threading an eyebrow tint at the ends. So tell me what you guys think about it. Back to the story. So that was her background. She did threading, and I think her family's like from like those Morocco type country, like in that area. So, you know, that's mostly what they do in the area that she was from. Like, she had like a long line of family that did threading, like sisters. And I think before you can do it on people, you have to go to school and get licensed and stuff like that. But she actually learned it like hands-on through like family and things like that, because again, that's kind of what they do in where she grew up at. But yeah, so she was quick with it. She got the waxing done, and she got that lady out of there. And thank you. She was a lifesaver. She was heaven sent, because I don't think I could have stand another minute in front of that lady. When she left, it was just like a sign of relief. Like, we didn't talk about it so much, but it was just kind of like, okay, sis, like, I see where you were coming from. I see why you was having such a hard time. But yeah, so that was my story time about how I just had such a hard time with the wax service. And I couldn't believe it. And ever since then, I told myself I didn't never want to do waxing. Like, if I had to do waxing, it's strictly facial. I don't think I wanted to do underarm. I don't think I wanted to do anywhere else but strictly facial waxing, because that experience put such a bad taste in my mouth, bad taste in my dang nose, bad smell in my nose. Like, I can still remember that smell even to this day, you guys. But I say all of this to say, basically, I put a little video in the beginning of this video because a couple things. A lot of times, I think humans, we kind of get used to certain scents, so we don't realize when something is off because you're used to it. So sometimes you'll notice when someone leaves their home, they have a home smell, whether that home smells like food, whether it smells like mothballs, whether it smells like fragrance, like, you know, people like to use like those wallflower fragrances and things like that. But you're so used to it because you live and sleep in that home that you don't really smell it, right? So when you go out into public, those scents can kind of like cling onto your clothes and your hair, right? So now people on the outside can tell the smell, but you can't. And a lot of times I feel like we just kind of get so used to those things, including our own body odor. We got to get in tune with ourselves. You got to know when your body odor is off. Hormones will tell you when your body is off. The time of the month, again, going back to hormones, will tell you when your body is off. I know for sure when I am going through ovulation and things like that, my body is telling me you're going through ovulation, because there's certain things that my body will do, including certain body odors, to let me know, hey, yeah, okay, your body is shifting through this menstrual cycle. You understand what I'm saying? And at that point, it's up to me to be like, okay, my body is shifting through this cycle. So I need to be able to figure out what do I need to do during this time of the month to make sure that I'm not smelling any type of way. So if I need to go ahead and up the deodorant, if I need to up the lady parts routine, if I need to whatever it may be, I need to kind of figure out, okay, what part of the cycle in the month am I in that I need to kind of shift the routine. Don't get into the habit of getting into the same type of routine, because your body is not the same all month. Your body is not the same mentally. Sometimes stress can cause your body to give a certain type of odor. Sometimes you're just so busy and life is taking you all over the place, and you may miss something during the day or during the week or whatever. Routine has changed, so do you. You need to change the routine that you're using when it comes to hygiene. Every day it just can't be a bar of soap and a wash rag and that's that. Sometimes you may need to take a little more care in that hygiene routine. You need to know what cycle your body is in, so that you know what sort of hygiene do you need to use during that cycle. Be in tune with yourself. Be in tune with your body. Be in tune with your mind. Be in tune with your soul. Don't be in people's chair getting services and you know you're not smelling the best. Everyone, listen, this is not a jab to anyone. Everyone is subject to not smelling their best every single day. You can have that. You can have a day where you're just not smelling your best. But the thing is, you need to know that. And you need to know that I need to fix something about that. It's kind of like the 12th step and the 12th step thing, where the first step is admitting, yes, knowing that you have an odor problem, even if it's not an odor problem, but you just know today today is not the day. Today was not the day. You just wasn't smelling your best today. Knowing that, okay, I need to fix something about that. That's the first step. But when you just walk into society all willy-nilly, sitting in people's chairs, getting services, sitting in people's homes, your friends and things like that, and not taking into account that you just aren't smelling your best, that's, to me, is definitely the problem. And then also for friends and family members that know that someone is usually smelling funky or not smelling their best that day, and you don't tell them, shame on you. Because I know one thing. All right, you guys, sorry for the total disrespect, but my camera was telling me that I was running really close to 20 minutes, but it didn't tell me that it was going to also die on me. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up and close it out. But again, what I was going to say is that, and for those of you, those loved ones, those friends that you call your bestie, road dog, whatever you want to call it, your homie, day ones, and all that other jazz, you're around that person and you know that person smells funky in any area, whether it be in the down below, whether they smell a little musty, smell like onions, they smell like garlic, their feet stink, they need to wash their hair, they just off in some aspect of their odor. And you know that, you smell it, and it's an ongoing thing. It's not just and even if it was just, okay, today you was off, you can still be honest. I would hope you have that type of relationship that you can tell your loved ones that they're smelling a little off. I ain't gonna lie. When I used to have, girlfriends, hopefully I can be that mama. I can be that auntie to those who don't have that, to let you know, sis, you are not smelling your best today. Get in that tub. Get into Target, or I don't know if we're still supporting Target, but get into Walgreens, get into Walmart, go to Amazon, find those hygiene products that work for you, and take care of yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, don't be that person that someone has to talk about in a text message about how you smell funky. Like, we're not doing that. It's 2025. Our Blushing Glams. That's not the look that we want for ourselves. We are going to hold our hygiene accountable. And, our loved ones is going to do the same. We'll do the same for our loved ones as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. Hopefully there wasn't anything that I forgot. Oh, actually I did. When we talked about my last hygiene video, I just mentioned some products. So something that I added to my hygiene, y'all, like having a baby really upped my routine. Like, I'm just like, okay. So I told you that the nurse, they usually give you like the shampoos and stuff like that. The nurse there, she was telling me about like the shampoos that's there, because it says it's pH balance, even though it's like a regular body shampoo. She was like, it's really good for the down below. So she was like, don't, be afraid to like use it because it just says it's body stuff. She says in her experience that, is good in the down below area because of the fact that it says pH balance. So I took her advice and I've just been adding that to my routine. And again, usually something that says pH balance on there, I'm usually seeing how that works for me. And if it works for me, I stick to it. I try not to derail myself into products just because people are going crazy about it. I like to try things, but not too much. I don't like to go off and just try a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to like the down below, because I know that it can be a sensitive area for most women, including myself. So I just try to make sure that I use things that I know works and stick to it. All the extra products. And like I said, I just use certain things certain times of the month. Sorry if you hear my baby. It's time for me to end the video. Anyway, but yeah, so the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was at the hospital, they usually give you these things. You can get them on Amazon too. They're called, I think, perineal cleansers. I don't have it with me, but if I can get a picture of an example of a bottle, I'll go ahead and put it here. But anyways, for the perineal cleanser sprays, you can use it in the shower. You can use it basically when you go to the hospital. They give it to you for people who like who can't really take showers there because they're kind of like bedridden. So they kind of use it to cleanse themselves in the absence of not being able to take a real bath. So I don't use it that way, obviously. I actually use it along with me in the shower. And so I use it like pretty much it's perineal. So you pretty much use it in the perineal area. Whatever that means to you, look it up. Okay? But you use it in that area. It's a spray bottle and I spray and then I rinse off. So I don't know, something you could probably look into adding to add to cleanliness in that area. Because again, this is 2025. There's no reason why a young woman these days don't have the tools and the resources to make sure that they are smelling their best. And we're gonna check out here because baby girl is telling me it's time to get off this video. We'll talk later, you guys. Peace. All right, you guys. So I'm going to use my teacher voice, and the new word for this video, or for this week's video, is going to be BOA, body odor awareness. Yes, so for 2025, for the remaining of 2025 and forward, we are going to make sure that we are BOA at all times, aware of our body odor. And that goes for everyone. No one is exempt, okay? Because we all have our days where we're just not smelling the way we need to or we should be smelling, especially as young ladies. I understand we work out, we got kids, we got things going on that might throw off our body odor, and that's okay. That's not what's on the stand right now. It's the fact that you have body odor is not necessarily what's what the concern is. The fact that you are not aware that you have it, or you do not care that you have it. So that is going to be the word for this video, and that is going to be what we're going to be making sure that we are conquering for the remaining of 2025, and that is BOA, body odor awareness. Make sure we're doing that smell test before you leave the house. While you're out, make sure you carry your little emergency pack, which should include a little deodorant, a little spray or something while you're out and about, while you're on a date, while you're doing your everyday thing. BOA, you guys. All right.